You know what I'm saying? It's not just a show, it's a movement. And on this episode right here, we got the realest cats in the building because they're gonna give us the real behind the real estate.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Got my partner right here, Rico, man, and seen his growth. Seen him since he was young, still young. Doing a lot of growing, man. He's in the real estate, come from the entertainment business, man. It's my partner, man. I'm happy to have him here. I'm proud. My cute out brother over here, Chris, heading in the real estate game, man. So they're gonna drop some jewels on us today, man, and we excited. And
got his one host, Floyd Dixon, here. What makes me such a hustleaholic is that the compulsive behavior to work and learn, and you know, my philosophy is before you can earn, you must learn.
You got Michelle, Lily Digital Diva in the building, and I must say, like Rec, I must admit, I'm addicted to the hustle. My name is Michelle, and I'm a hustlerholic, and like Floyd, believe in the education behind the hustle because that creates the science behind the hustle.
that's it, man. And we happy to have y'all here, man. To share, you know, with a lot of like in our community, man. We don't have all the examples in the world, man, on how to become successful and stuff. So we using this platform as a mentorship, man, to spread the jewels, man. So anyway, yeah, peace, man. We just chilling, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna start off, Rico, man. Just you know what I'm saying? I know there's so much to you. You know, and you know, I've been knowing you so long, man, and there's way more to you than real estate. But kind of give us the backdrop of how you came from the entertainment and venture into real estate.
Well, you know, me and you, I guess you could say we've been knowing each other, what, almost 20 years?
20 years,
Race
for sure.
shop days, being on the road.
Yeah.
So, you know, we was doing the music thing, and then after a while, we wanted to venture off and do other things, you know. So I started buying property after tax auction. Just going from there, just buying it and holding it. And there was a good friend of ours named Johnny Hollins. He was building houses and flipping houses, so, you know, I kind of got with him and asked him some things, you know, and he was showing me, telling me some things. So I just started buying and flipping and going from there. And then I was waiting on realtors to sell our houses for us, to find our houses. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get my own license and do it on my own. So I became a realtor. And then everybody else started wanting me to get houses for them. So that just took off, and then I know so many entrepreneurs, commercial real estate been doing good for me. So
Wow.
It's like everything just been adding up, you know, just going further and further. So
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And Chris, what's your journey been like to getting?
So I'm from the other side, right? So I did everything I was told to do. Go to school, get that good degree, doctor, lawyer, engineer. Engineer was 4 years. I was like, I'm gonna go the shortest route. Got out there, got in the corporate world first year, realized I was sold a dream. I hated it. So first year out, I'm like, I gotta get out of this. Just started reading books. Real estate just kept coming up over and over. It's the first generation wealth creator for a lot of people. So I was in Memphis, moved back to Houston to be close to my mom and my son. I had my son when I was 16, so he was in Port Arthur. I wanted to get back close. Immediately started flipping houses like 2008. So matter of fact, one of my line brothers worked for Home Investors. We buy the houses wholesale folks. So he plugged me with their main contractor. He became my mentor, started flipping houses, and you know, grew it from there.
So, Rico, I know, you know, like the whole boss life movement and branding, I know how important, I know a role you play in that. How has that played a role, you know what I mean, in helping you build out your real estate?
it played a big role in me, you know, because we was all doing that together. The Boss Life, it came about, started as was supposed to be a record label, then it turned to a clothing line, and then we started building houses, and then it just took me from there. I just became heavily involved in it. I just kind of like made it my everyday hustle.
Right. Yeah. And see, I like the fact that, like, you know, like we know, like most people that come from the entertainment industry, they be one track.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's either music or nothing. You know, and that consumes us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know even for me, man, that was one of the biggest mistakes I made was not diversifying myself. And I really wish I would have used my platform when I had it.
Right.
To expand, because I could have probably at that time, I had about 7 or 8 damn different things going.
Right.
You know, so I commend you, man, on that. And before, you know what I'm saying? So I just kind of want you to kind of give some advice to anybody that's in the entertainment industry or open their mind up to why it's so important that they diversify.
Right, like I would tell anybody that's in the industry, you know, when you're in the music game and you're making that money, diversify and get into something else while you're doing it. Don't wait till that money stop, because that's when it's way harder to do that. So get in it then, you know, and start getting, and be on your stuff, you know. Don't just, hey, I'm gonna just invest and throw them that money and let them do it. Man, be hands-on and take care of your business and go ahead and, you know.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Chris, you like, man, I know you made such a big imprint, especially in the Fifth Ward area, and with the whole by
By the block.
the block, man. So,
Okay.
yeah, man, and I was so happy just to, you know what I mean, I was almost like, I've been a fan from the
I love
distance.
it.
Then I find out he bruh, then I find out he's from the grill. Like, oh shit. You know, but give us a little synopsis on how you rolled into that and what's the mentality behind it.
I think, you know, the whole the hustle mindset, the growth mindset is like I never was complacent with just flipping houses. That's what a lot of us do.
Yeah.
And then what I realized a lot of times, the people that teach us this business, not from our communities. So what they're teaching us, actually, it causes gentrification. It messes up our neighborhoods. So in 2013, I was like, well, let me stop. Let me see if I can figure out another way to approach this process where I can still make money and I can be a positive impact on the community. And so for me, that started with trying to figure out, you know, what can I buy, what can I flip that's not going to displace people, right? So started looking at buying blocks at that point in time, finding landlords that own a whole bunch of real estate, ready to retire, and you know, something I could remove some criminal activity or some vacant blighted property that was nothing good for the community, and do something positive with it. And yes, that's how it started. And my first project was new construction because as I studied how our neighborhoods got to where they were, I realized, man, before desegregation, all the entrepreneurs, the business owners, the Peacock Records, all the entertainment was in the community. But once we won the right to leave the community for whatever reason, we all took it upon ourselves to prove that we had that right, and we left the neighborhood. So my goal is to bring that neighborhood to look back how it looked back then. Right?
Gotcha.
We shouldn't be ashamed or feel bad if we want to move from Pearland or Humble back to the community and build some nice stuff. We just got to make it attractive for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So that's the hard part.
It's almost getting hard though to move back now because
Yeah.
it's almost higher, you know what I mean, like the property value.
And that's the other point. That's the point. So we always miss that wave. If you look at it, started in the Heights and it went counterclockwise around downtown, Fourth Ward, now Third Ward is almost consumed by them. The problem is we don't pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
So you got to get in early.
Right.
Get in early, start buying up the property when they were still calling me bloody nickels when I was buying. You know what I mean? Right. And so everybody thought I was crazy, but you got to stay ahead of the curve. Yeah.
When you talk about staying ahead of the curve and you talked about education, one of the things, because I actually moved from Chicago here and started getting into real estate in 2004. And one of the things that I went to, I'm big on education, and so I paid $30,000 for real estate education, and a lot of people are scared to do that. But what I learned from that, it was just one nugget that I took away that made me way more, triple that money that I spent. But you talk about getting ahead of the curve and being educated. A lot of times, and I want either one of you all to speak on this, we don't pay attention to, for instance, the city will tell you where the development is moving.
That's it.
And that education and resources available. If you know what the city will tell, they have a planning department.
Right.
So you know when new roads are going in, you know when new streets are going in, you know where they put new flower beds in the middle and new sidewalks in, and that's where they tell you where the gentrification is actually starting. So how would you say to tell people to stay ahead of that and to really get involved and understand what's happening so we're not behind the curve, but we stay ahead of the curve?
I mean, you named the key component. I always tell everybody, pay attention to the city's plans, because the city, they have 5, 10-year, 15-year plans,
Right.
and all they can do is what we call the infrastructure part. So like you said, the streets, the ditches, the sidewalks, you know, the parks, and then they want it to look nice enough for the private people with the money, the investors, developers, to come in behind them and say, oh, it's nice enough now for me to take on this market. Oh, and look how cheap this land is right now. So I can go in here, and the house costs you the same price to build. It's the same amount of lumber, it's the same amount of sheetrock, the same amount of wiring. But if your land is cheaper, you can make more money if you can get a certain price point out of it on the back end, right? So, yeah, so I think the key is paying attention to the city, pay attention to city council meeting minutes, because when developers have to do things, they have to go and ask for permission to do it, right? And watch for any signs of construction you see when you start seeing houses being renovated. All those signs are something's bubbling in this area, and if it's in our neighborhoods, we usually get mad and we want to, go to the city council or the mayor and tell them to stop it instead of participating.
Right.
Because if we participate in it, we own it, we make the money, we control who moves in, we control what the rents are. We worry about our other residents. That's what I do too. I go in and buy rental portfolios that's occupied with residents, make sure I don't raise the rent on them. Because I know I'm gonna make value. I'm gonna make my return off of the value appreciation of the land. So I don't have to worry about the cash flow so much.
Right.
So
You have to have a long-term perspective. A lot of times we want to get right in, we want to flip houses right away. And, when you hear people say, man, the first thing people say as soon as they make some money, I want to invest in real estate. And not realizing how capital intense it can be and how you can actually lose your shirt sometimes behind that capital intensity, thinking that you can go in and flip a house in 3 months. And you want to come in and demolish it and do everything right away, and sometimes it takes you 9-10 months to get out, and because we haven't prepared or planned for that money that we have to pay on the loan or whatever, we fall behind and we lose our shirt. How do you stop that from happening?
Yeah, because that's what I really wanted to ask Rico. He good at making shit look easy. It's been smooth since I've been doing it. But man, I want you to tell me, I know it ain't been all easy.
It's definitely handled challenge and not easy. And I try to, on my Instagram, when I fix up some houses sometimes, I try to let them know that it's going. You have to always plan for something to go wrong.
Right.
And like I always tell everybody, if somebody offer you a real estate investment deal, they say you'll get your money back in 30 days. I would walk away. I don't believe that, because I can go look at a property and say, yeah, it's gonna take me 30 days, but you never know what could happen. Weather could stop you, permitting can stop you, just anything. Your contractor can be slow, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna always be bugs, and especially if you don't know what you're doing. Cause I did something recently. I fixed the house up, and I did the plumbing like I was supposed to, but I didn't do all of it. And after I got finished with this pretty little home, I started. People was living in there. Hey, it's flooded out here. It's coming from the bottom. I'm like, damn. Okay, I thought I did that, but I trusted my contractor to do it. When I usually do everything on my own, plumbing, I go with my plumber. Electrical, I go with my electrician. But I let this one person, I trusted them, and they said, oh yeah, we did it. But they ain't do it all the way. So now I'm steady going 3,000 for this. Then a month later, hey, it's backing up again. I'm 4,000. So, you just gotta, it's gonna always be some stuff that come at you. So plan for the worst.
So you guys, there's so many aspects to real estate. So it's hard to hone in. But if you was talking to somebody right now that, like, man, I want to get into real estate, what's some of the suggestions you got? Flipping, remodeling, or building from ground up? If you trying to get your feet wet in the real estate out the gate, what you think is the best approach, or from an investment standpoint?
I don't think there's really a right answer. It's a couple factors. Number one, you gotta ask yourself, do I have time? Do I have money? Do I have both? Right? If you don't have money and you got time, then wholesaling is the best route to go. But that's when you're going out, you're just finding properties, and then you're flipping to people like me and Rico. Whether it's a vacant lot, I'm gonna buy it and build a new house on it, or it's an existing property, Rico gonna take it and renovate it, flip it, keep it as a rental, or sell it. And those people, they make money off of. They'll get the property in the contract for one price, mark it up a little bit, and sell it to us. And for us, the time that we save from not having to go find the deals on our own is worth us paying them that money. Until they get greedy. When they get greedy, we cut them off and find something else.
Yeah. So I'm with them. It's up to you what you want to do. And like you say, if you're going out looking for properties, that's time consuming. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of research to go look for that. But I say it's all on you. But if I had to say, if you just get in the real estate game, I like the first step. I always like investing in land. If I do my homework, if it's going for 40,000 over there, I know I need to get in there and get it for under 30. So I know I can make me a profit. I got some cushion. Then if it's a house, I like to fix it up so that way I learn the contract. Because I think just coming in and trying to build a house, you're gonna be. Till this day, I still need help. You know what I'm saying? I refer to our friend Johnny. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always stuff that you don't know. That's nothing you learn overnight. So to me, that's the best advice I can give them. Learn, go in there and flip and learn and take your bumps and bruises because you are going to take them.
Yes.
Well, the question I have for you guys is, you know, y'all like athletes, you know, most athletes after their career over with, they become a coach or whatever. What advice would you give someone that, you know, man, get out of this lane and sometimes you're going to have to take the risk and rewards to do this here?
Man, I would say, once you understand the success triangle, I heard y'all talk about that on the previous podcast a little bit, I heard your discussion about it. The success triangle, right? So you need 3 things to be successful in anything. You need the knowledge and experience, you need opportunity, and then you need the money, right? So if you can come to the table with either one of those 3 and network and find other people that got the other 2, then you can be successful in whatever you want to do. So the easiest place to start most of the time is just reset and get the knowledge. You talked about that at the beginning of the show. You know, go and get the knowledge first, and then once you get that, you got the knowledge, and you can go, like Rico said, he goes to talk to Mr. Howard. Mr. Howard's got the experience, so now you got the knowledge and experience. Then you go around and find an opportunity, you find the land, even if you don't have the money. We can go to y'all and say, hey, we got a good deal. And look at the team. Bring it up. And look at the team. Right. You know, let's put together.
Hey, Money Wake Up, when I was in Money Wake Up every day looking for a deal. You got a deal, you can find the money.
Right.
Hey man, that's the, I'm gonna make it real quick, but that's how Don King launched his whole career.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He only had $500,000. He broke that shit up, gave half to Ali and half to the foreman, and it was on some shit. He's like, I'm gonna give y'all this $250. I think he might have gave him $500 or $250 up front, but whatever it was, he was about to come up with a ton of money on the back end. They was like, man, let's just take this money because he can't come up with it.
Right.
And he's like, I know the value of the fight. Somebody gonna come off the rest of the money, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's when I figured out how to start my record label.
Right.
I get the right on.
You know what's interesting, Rick? When I was in real estate, what I learned is that I wasn't selling real estate. I was selling money.
That's it.
Because if it wasn't any money in the deal, it didn't matter, or an investor wasn't buying, they was buying the money. So when you selling real estate, you selling money.
That's right.
And he made a good point, man, that information, knowing, ask, you know what I'm saying? I know some people don't like to tell you what they doing, you know. I ain't like that. I get random calls, because I still got the same number for music. So I got a number for 20 years, and people call me, hey, I don't sit on the phone for no hour, but I'll give information, because I was so happy that somebody gave it to me. So do your research, you know what I'm saying? That's a key component to that, man.
And that mentor, also the responsibility of being a mentee, that's what's powerful. I keep reiterating that. That's why we have this platform. Because of that. Because so long in our community, man, you know, you had to be that way back in the day in a sense. You know what I mean? Because your people would look at you and see you start doing too good and quick. Don't want to patronize you no more. But we got to restructure that mentality and start sharing this information and start building up people behind us. So if something do fall, if we do fall, man, somebody can catch it. You know what I'm saying? And I commend you on that because I know education is a big part of your makeup. You know what I'm saying? I know that you teach and you give, you have your own schools and platforms, man. So reiterate on that, on how teaching, giving back, and how you expanded your brand beyond just you getting your money and how that played a role in your success.
I just remember how hard it was when I was trying to do what I was trying to do in the neighborhood, like build new construction in the neighborhood where none of the banks don't give you no money. Nobody really want to invest in it yet. Nobody think nobody want to buy. So it's like you're stuck in a box, right? And you're trying to figure out how to get out of it. So once I figured out that formula, I'm like, I want to give this to everybody else because I don't want nobody else to feel like I feel. And it's so much opportunity that I can't hold it all to myself. It makes no point for me to try to harbor all of it. So so for me, it's all about education because we behind as a community across the country, and we make a lot of money, but we don't know how to be the ones paying the money out that we make. You know what I mean? So we got to get in that position. And real estate is the #1 wealth creator in the world. It's the oldest. I mean, if you think about it, the only reason the king was the richest because he owned all the land. So it's the oldest game.
I mean, when you think about America, you know, why were we behind? Why are we some of the reasons we behind? It's because we didn't own the land. And you know, if
Still waiting on that 40 acres.
Still waiting.
I'll take 10 right now.
Flip it.
Exactly.
And it's truly old.
Yeah,
that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
That's a whole other part.
Because you got generational wealth and you got generational poverty.
Right.
All that shit is inherited.
Yes.
Exactly.
And we fight against the grain, man.
But I think that the more people that you help, it just really helps you because they come back to you with more resources. And if you can cut the learning curve for everybody else, have them making more money, we all collectively do bigger things together.
Right.
You say keep work coming together.
Coming together.
Yeah. Some people get it, hey, I'm running over here, I got mine now.
Right.
So right now, man, I feel like I'm feeling this, but y'all gonna tell me if I'm real. I feel like they got a boom going on in Houston. Like there's an influx of people moving here. I'm trying to figure out if it's because of what's going on in Austin. I don't know what it is, but from a real estate perspective, right now, like my little plan is I'm gonna start trying to buy some land around here, like as much land as I can. But is there really a growth boom going on in Houston right now? In what area? Like what, like, share some of that shit with everybody. What's the next move? What's the next winning moves with all that?
So most big cities you'll see there's a pattern. People move to the suburbs and people move back in. And right now you got a lot of people moving back into the city. And the medical center is a really strong employer for the whole Houston area, right? Because we know oil and gas is down right now.
Correct.
So, but you got a lot of people living far that's tired of the commute. So as Third Ward gets really nice again, more people moving there. And then, I don't know if y'all know, but the same developer that built City Center is building one about 3 times the size of City Center on Buffalo Bayou. It's in the 5th floor.
Second one.
Yeah. So that's gonna be huge. Because you gotta make a decision to go to City Center, way on the west side.
Right.
But when you pick it up and put it right next to downtown,
Right.
that's gonna change that whole landscape of that neighborhood. So if you wanna buy, I would say anything east of 45 inside the loop, that land pocket, Acres Homes is another good pocket.
How do you feel about this though? Since COVID, everybody's working from home. So a lot of people that, them businesses downtown, a lot of them are figuring out, I don't need this big old building and all these offices. I'm gonna keep them at home and I don't have to pay this over here. You think that's gonna affect us somewhat with the
Oh yeah, I think on the oil and gas side and on those types of businesses, a lot, because they've actually found out that some of the employees are more productive working from home.
Right.
But the medical center, that people got to go to work.
they have to go right. Medical center
and
gonna still
and
go.
it's steadily growing as it continues to grow. It's still good.
So maybe we need to buy some of these empty buildings.
You know what?
And create some lots.
Yeah, no, that's right. I was on Clubhouse's new thing right now. And I was some of the big white developers was talking about that conversion of office buildings into lofts.
Speaking of, when you all mentioned about COVID, what happened is, and a lot of us don't notice that a moratorium, they put a moratorium on any government-backed loan. And that moratorium is about to come up in March, which means that you have some people that haven't paid mortgage since last March.
Yes.
And with that in mind, and I'm sure a lot of those are black folks.
Yeah.
So that's going to create another opportunity, because what happened in 2008, you're about to see happen again, where a lot of people are going to be in trouble with foreclosure in the next few months.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to qualify for what they call a requalification loan or something. And a lot of people won't qualify for it this time because they've lost their jobs and they don't have the same income and so forth. So it's going to be a lot of opportunity available.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that? Because that's going to affect a lot of us.
If you got some money, you better be ready. Cause there's gonna be a lot out there. Cause right now in Houston, it's a shortage on houses. Cause as me being a realtor, if I'm looking for something right now, stuff not staying on the market like 8 to 10 days. If you find it, you better jump on it, cause the interest rates are low right now.
Right.
So everybody buying right now. But like you said, in March, when that rolling around, there's gonna be a lot coming up.
And the thing is, once somebody gets foreclosed on, they still gotta live somewhere. So they're gonna turn into a renter.
Right.
So I mean, we could even. My goal, like to see us, the ones that have the money and be the investors, go and buy the properties so that the ownership can stay black. But then we can help them out, let them be our tenants for a while, let them get back on their feet. Maybe eventually they'll qualify for a mortgage again, they can buy the house back.
I want to get your opinion too on, I follow a lot of guys on real estate when I did, and a lot of women and men on real estate. And one of the things that they talked about is that a lot of times we think that the place that we live in is really a true investment. And a lot of times we don't understand it's a liability. Because if you live in that property and you paying taxes and everything on it, and the upkeep on it, it's really not a true investment because you just sitting on money if you don't have something paying. What's your thoughts on that piece of it?
People want to say it's an investment, but it's really just a preference, right? It's like the type of car you drive.
Right.
Right? So if you look at, like you said, the property taxes, the insurance, the lawn maintenance, the repairs you got to make out of pocket if something goes wrong, and you add all those expenses up on top of your mortgage payment, and if the value of that house has not increased more than all those numbers, then you in the red that year. You're in the red that year. Yeah. Now, flip that coin, go buy a rental property that's giving you $400 or $500 a month cash flow, stack 4 or 5 of those up. Now you got $2,500 coming in a month while you sleep, but you live in an apartment where if anything goes wrong, somebody else is making
There you go.
and you talk about the benefits. Now you got 5 houses that you got tax write-offs for,
Right.
that you can write off repairs for, and you got value appreciation of all of those.
Exactly.
Right.
And so, the way a bank looks at you personally, they look at your personal income, and they say, okay, based off of what you make, we believe you can qualify for this much mortgage. Well, if you buy your primary residence first, the house you're living in, next time you go to buy the rental property, they're gonna say that. But if you bought that investment property first, they're like, oh, you got more income.
So you have an asset that pays for where
Hold on,
you live.
that's powerful.
That's
So,
what
hold
I'm
on.
And that's what
Put this on the record. This man say buy your investment properties first.
Buy cash flow. That's what you do.
Right.
You actually
Exactly.
you buy something that's printing money for you every month
There you
first,
go.
and then you buy your primary
And
residence.
see, my
That's what I was trying to get to.
yeah, my guy, Big Joe.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. But
No, no.
Big Joe,
Yeah.
he gonna be like, I wouldn't know why I wasn't there. But he mentors me a little bit on real estate.
Okay.
And his philosophy is he don't pay for nothing. He buy a house for everything he wants.
Right.
So he like, man, I want another car. He whatever he think that car note is,
Right.
he go buy a property and that property pay that
Exactly.
Right.
pay each one of his bills, whatever. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. And I was just gonna reiterate what he said, and once again, it comes from somebody telling you that, because we don't know.
Right.
And when I bought the property that I have now, which is right downtown, and they were like, you need to file it as this, not as your primary residential or whatever. And I'm like, nah, man, that's what. So I'm telling you, everything. I said, oh, okay, yeah. So it's like, pay a little bit more, but it's going to increase your credit and increase everything. You know?
Yeah. No, that's powerful. The house I live in right now is a property, but it's in my business name. So I did that, so I pay rent to my business. You know.
So
Right.
So everybody always, you know, they consider themselves hustlers or being entrepreneurs and all that. And I know we all are, you know what I mean? And everybody look at the good side of it. But the tough side of it, you don't kill nothing, you don't eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just curious as to, you know, when you left that safety zone and you chose to venture out in the entrepreneur way, you know, how has in any kind of way your hustle affected your mental health? And I just ask each one of you, like, how do you deal with the stress, the pressure, the ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we don't like just touching on the good side,
Right.
on the rough side. So, yeah, in what ways can you say, you know, you've been affected?
Yeah, no, it gets stressful at times, man. Shit. My coping mechanism is usually a drink in the afternoon. But yeah, you have deals that go bad. You have, like Rico said earlier, anytime you can plan a project to a T, especially on a flip, but there's always gonna be something else comes up. It's never gonna end on time. But when you get a little bit more comfortable being uncomfortable, then it gets a little better. When you realize failure is just feedback on something you need to adjust.
Yeah.
Like I'm the type of person where it's like when I identify a problem, I don't run it over in my head. How did this happen? My immediate focus is I gotta find a solution.
Right.
Because all the energy I spend worried about that problem does not help me get to the solution. Right. So it's never easy. I'll say it's never easy.
I'm the same way. I'm like you, head up, chest out. I don't. When something go wrong, I'm not worried about it. It is what it is. It's here. Let's get through that problem and keep on going. Because you won't always have something. Like you say, it's gonna be something bad, but at the end of the day, we all live good lives. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna take some stuff like that, you know. But at the end of the day, we live good. You're gonna take some bumps and those.
Nah, I tell people all the time, man, they be like, you know, man, you know, you got it like this, you got it like that. And I say, yeah, you know, and I might not be lifting up the hammer as much no more, and, or nailing shit that much no more. But the stress load I can carry. I'm like everybody can't carry that type of stress load. You know what I'm saying? So I always like to touch in on that. Another thing that I know plagues our community is the inability for us to work together. Like, you know what I mean? We so individualized with everything, and it makes us less competitive. You know what I'm saying? And I look at you, Rico, like you and some of your core friends, y'all been able to create a dynamic of being able to work together, get money together, and still stay friends and still stay together.
Right.
So is there anything you can touch on and share with people about like what makes something like that work, you know?
Well, the first thing for us, we know we like brothers. So that's for life. We'll never let no money, no business come in between us. But we do know business is important. So when it's time to do business, our feelings don't matter. So when we in that room, if we agree to disagree, it just is what it is. When we walk away, we still friends. And even if we get into a slight argument, you know, hey man, I love this dude. We're not gonna go, all right, if he pushing for that, give it to him. You know what I'm saying? Because he has the best interest. So, and you know, we've been knowing each other a long time, but we just pack fat with each other. So I know this one is not gonna steal. You know what I'm saying? But on the up and up, if everybody wanna see the books, see them. I'm not offended if you ask to see the books or whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You supposed to. We push one another. If somebody miss a meeting, we pushing. If Slim been too busy, hey, look at this, boy. Check this out. You know what I'm saying? Because I want you to see, even though you trust us, because it might be something we missed, and we might need you to check that out. So yeah, that's we don't put no money ahead of us.
Yeah, the openness, man. I try to tell people that. I say, man, if we're gonna have a true partnership, then we gotta agree to one thing. One thing is important. We might disagree on if we're going left or we're going right, but whatever way we choose, then forget about that you wanted to go the other way.
Right.
Cause now I'm not rooting against us.
Exactly.
I gotta act like that was the way I wanted to go.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and so but partnerships and working together, man, is something that's like not been, like prevalent in our community, man.
Yeah.
I know you open a lot of doors for a lot of people.
Yeah,
and
it's
an opportunity.
it's really tough, you know. For me, the whole group that I work with, they aren't people I grew up with, so I had to go out and find them, right? So it's all about finding people that have your same mindset, but you can bring a mutual benefit to them. You know what I mean? Where it's really a give on both sides. So like even on my new construction, from my builder, my real estate broker, my preferred insurance company, my mortgage guy, everybody's black. Everybody from and they all top performers on their own. You know, and most of them are used to being the only black person in the room. You know what I mean? But it's opportunities for us to not be scared to work together. We just have to get out there and do it. You know.
Do you have some I was reading, you have platforms and ways where people can also like invest?
Yes.
How does that work? Like,
Okay.
tell me more about that.
That's a good point. So when I talk about like buying in our communities and buying like big bulk portfolios of real estate, like instead of going buy one house at a time, there's people that have been buying real estate 30, 40 years. Their kids don't want to take over it, and they're ready to retire. So I found somebody like that. There's a black lady on husband and wife team on 18 houses, 2 commercial buildings on Lyons Avenue in Fifth Ward. And they wanted like 1.2 million for it. They wanted 1.5 million for it actually. But you know, they really had kept it up. They really had the county records they needed to have. So I talked them down $250,000, and then I decided to use something that Barack Obama approved when he was in president. It's called crowdfunding, regulation CF crowdfunding, where anybody can invest as little as $1, up to $10,000, and you can pull that money together and you can invest and buy real estate. So that's what I did. So I found a black lady that had a platform that she got registered with the SEC, all those 3-letter organizations. And we got together. I put the campaign together. I explained what I was doing. I was like, look, there's 18 houses. Some of these tenants been there 20 years. The landlord's about to sell it. And what's going to happen is somebody from outside the community is going to buy it, kick all the tenants out, renovate it, raise the rents. You know, that's gentrification. Or we're going to buy it because it's right by that big project I was telling y'all about. It's like 3/4 of a mile away. I was like, so I know the value gonna triple on the property eventually. So yeah, so I put it out there, let people invest as little as $250, and in 7 months raised $1,070,000, which was the max you could raise. Didn't want one single ad, just social media posts on the social media platforms.
What's the maximum you said you can raise?
$1,070,000. It was $1,070,000, but they're increasing it to $5 million right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so did that, In 7 months, we raised it, and now everybody they can ride by Lions Avenue. They can see the property, see the renovations out of downtown. So I was telling you, Pokey shot his video in one of the buildings the other day. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, that's a model that we can duplicate.
Speaking of that, and you mentioned Joe, who actually showed me this strategy, and I want to definitely mention this for anybody that's watching this, because a lot of us, we tend to be workers. But we have money in 401ks, and we don't realize that we can take that money out of a 401k, put it in a self-directed IRA, and invest with the same tax benefits that we got from our 401k. So instead of us using those 401ks where we got somebody else that's investing in stuff we don't even know about, and some stuff we would probably even disagree that they invested in, we can now take that money, put it in a self-directed IRA. We direct, self-directed means you direct where you want those funds to be invested. You still get the exact same tax benefits that you got from your 401k, but now you can say where that money goes and invest in projects just like you're talking about. So I just want to make sure we throw that out there, because it's a lot of us that have got $500,000, $200,000 sitting in 401ks, but we want to invest in real estate, but we think we got to have money outside of that. We don't know that we can do that with our money.
Yeah, no, that's right. I can't remember. It's one of the big unions, the teachers union or firefighters union, found out that they were taking the 401k money from our employees and investing in private prisons, and we didn't know. You know, we have those types of things.
Right.
But yeah, you can take control of your retirement account and just say, yeah, I want to invest in real estate. And you can do it that way. Yeah. That's fine.
So that's kind of like taking us to our breakout. So outside of real estate, y'all involved in any other markets, stock, forex, cryptocurrency, do anything else with your money besides
Any others?
We've been doing a little stocks lately. I haven't been doing a whole lot because I'm still learning on that. But we're trying to venture off into some other things. Open up a bar next year. We're trying to go into that business too. Yeah. And just we got the clothing line still, so we got the Boss Beer, so we just trying to take everything we got to the next level now.
Okay.
Yeah. And for me, I kind of like to stay close to real estate. So if it's a business that I can buy out a building that it's in and do the real estate, I'll do that. So I just got into the gym business. I partnered with Muscleheads in Third Ward. And I bought the old Wolf's Pawn Shop next door, so they can expand into it. But it goes back to the partnership thing. Like they wanted to give me a certain percentage of the business, and I was like, no, I want to take a smaller percentage of the business because I'm not gonna be active in it, and I don't want y'all to resent me later on when you need something. But y'all keep that bigger portion. My goal is to own the real estate and own a small portion and bring me capital. So.
No, I'll be hard on it. I'm like, man, look at man. Where your sweat equity at?
Right, yeah.
That's the percentages apply.
Yeah.
So just doing business amongst ourselves, man. That's the whole concept idea about like why we doing this. You know what I'm saying, man? And it's big for me to not just share I'm here. So kind of personally, you know what I'm saying, what was like your obstacle? What was your number one obstacle between day one and where you are right now in terms of, real estate example? Give us at least something so other people can know when they get to that point, don't give up at that point, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I would say the obstacle for me has always been the access to enough money to be able to do the project, and having enough people believe in the project you're trying to do, especially when you're trying to do something new. Every project I've done, that's how it's been. But you just can't give up. When I was trying to do my first new construction, 23 different lenders, banks, everybody told me no. Hell no. Now that I've built and sold the first round of them, and all black working professionals bought them. Now the same banks want to offer you $700,000, $800,000 to build 4 or 5 of them at a time now. But it's just believing in yourself and just not wasting any time and energy on trying to convince somebody why you can do it when you can take that same time and energy and just get it done.
Right. So getting capital, you're gonna use that same formula again and again, or is that a one-time thing?
I may do it again if I find the right project. It's tough because you're dealing with a lot of people, a lot of investors.
I was curious about that.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta make sure, you wanna be sure it's a win-win. It's gotta be.
It's gotta be something like this one. It already had the residents were already living there, so it already had rent revenue coming from it, so it makes sense. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you that same question, Rico.
I would say man, pretty much the same thing as capital, because with us, we never had a loan from the bank. It's everything financed from us. And then when you got other good deals over here, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, we got got this tied up over here, and sometimes you gotta miss this one, or you know, it's pretty much so bigger projects we want to do. If we do want to come and build $1 million, $2 million worth, we ain't going to no bank. Do you want to get that $2 million out of your stash? You know what I'm saying, and hold that up for this year or two. So that's pretty much the same thing. But we are changing that. You know, this year we trying to go ahead and use more bank money, because all the top people that I meet, they say, yeah, where are you with finance? Oh, we out the pocket. They look at us and like,
Right. They got $50 million
right. They, but you know, and I'm, you know, as young black people, we like, man, I ain't trying to go deal with them folks and put in my business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but some habits we got to get out of, and you know, in order to cover more ground.
Right, and that's keeping our paperwork straight.
Exactly. Yeah.
And see, that led me to the streets. You know what I mean? I'm being real.
Right.
20 years ago, man. I was trying to get my MBA, man. I'm like, man, I got all these bright ideas. I got all my shit together. I'm in an MBA program. I got my shit formatted right. Go to the bank on my shit on the table. Look at me, you know what I'm saying? And I know, I know that if I was of a different color, it wouldn't have been as hard for me. And I actually seen cats, you know what I'm saying? When I came up in Atlanta doing the stuff I was doing, they didn't have no loft downtown. And I'll never forget, as a young guy, remember the studio loft we had downtown, he came up, like they had just started rebuilding downtown Atlanta. And this cat I was like 24, 25, so he was maybe 2 years older than me, 27. And he built the first loft, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all familiar, Walker Street, all right by the AUC, right next to the stadium, all that little area right there. It was no loft, no nothing. He built the first one, and then like that, he took off running. So, he ended up building out most of that block. And before he was 30, he had all that bread, man. And we was doing God knows what to get some money just to open up any kind of little business, man. And I was like, I was just like, all opportunities are not provided for all people, man. And going forward, what are some of the things you guys think we can do as a community to prevent that? You know what I mean? You know how many young cats are in prison? Most of black cats in prison is because of getting money. Trying to get money. But what do you think going forward? How can we tie this knot? It's not well.
I think the collective investing, collective funding of projects, we can become our own bank. I mean, it sounds like a foreign concept, but a lot of other communities do it. And I think a lot of times we feel like we got to reinvent the wheel, but you can go to Chinatown, you can go to the Jewish community and see how they pull together. And we have black banks now, we just don't support them like we should. But I think it would take a group of the entrepreneurs to go in there and say, hey, we're going to bring the people to y'all, but this is what the lending products we need y'all to create for us to be able to use. So that, and you can lend it to us. Y'all can make money, we can make money, and it's a proven group of people that got a track record of success first. And so I think those types of things are ways we can start practically without starting over from zero.
Also getting everything together, your credit, paperwork, like we just talked about. Because I know a lot of street guys who got $300,000-400,000, but can't do nothing with it. If they name don't even exist. Then like they say, they scared. I don't want to mess with them people. But I mean, you gotta get your LLC and pay your taxes on that money. And if you're trying to make that next move, I know I'm speaking some different activity, but I ain't doing it, but I'm just saying, get your LLC and file for that year you made $150,000, pay them like the $10,000-20,000, and then now your name is right. You got an income, and now you can go ahead and invest somebody. You can write him a check for $50,000, and he don't have to say where you got it from, or you don't have to worry about them people messing with you. It's proper ways to doing this stuff.
And that's the information need to be shared, man. And it's like you got this disconnect between those that know and those that don't. You know what I mean? Street niggas and executives and the preachers got other communities. They don't have that gap. You know what I'm saying? The mob and the church is always there. So we got a lot of little young cats with a lot of money. Don't know what to do with it.
But buy Dior.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was a black lady running for DA, and she had a pretrial diversion program, kind of like if you get a DWI, you can go to the program. She had one for drug dealers, right? As long as it was a nonviolent offense, if you just got caught with product, you go through a pretrial diversion program where they give you a legal service or business to start, and they let you mentored by Fortune 500 or executives that own those companies. You already know how to source a product, you know how to find a supply chain, you know how to have a target market, you know how to build a
Right.
distribution system,
Absolutely.
you know how to do all your accounting. You just need a legal business to take all those skill sets and convert it over to. I was like, man, that's what we need in our community.
Yeah, back to that, the three,
Yep.
yeah.
Out of everybody we interviewed though, y'all seem like y'all got one of the most competitive industries, you know, real estate. What advice would you give to someone young? Because a lot of people don't like competing out here. And to compete, you got to be a hustler. You know,
Yeah.
you got to. So, what advice would you give to some young starter that's just trying to get out?
Man, hey, be ready to hustle hard. This ain't for the weak, you know what I'm saying?
It don't seem like it. I ain't gonna lie. Interviewing y'all.
Yeah, because you might go 3 months without making no money, you know what I'm saying? So learn how
It's
to
the family.
get you a finance class or something, because learn how to manage your money, because you might make 60,000 this month, and then the next 4 or 5 months might be slow, because like, for a couple of months, I didn't find no good deals, you know what I'm saying? So, but I always feel like I'm never doing enough. So I try to beat the street harder and harder than I did. So keep that hustle mentality. But if you're not a hustler, this ain't for you. This ain't for
I
you.
hear you, Rico.
Yeah, I mean it's a certain risk tolerance that you gotta have to be able to stay in this business long. Your risk tolerance may just really be having a good job and having to deal with an uncomfortable work environment, you know, and a boss you don't like, versus like you said, not knowing where your money coming from for 2 or 3 months. So you really got to evaluate yourself to understand if this is something you really want to do long term. And you have to not only think about the quick licks where you get the big bags. You got to think about buying investment properties and give you a little bit over time, so that on those months when you don't have nothing, at least you got that 3,000 or 4,000
Right.
from what you can invest.
So you gotta diversify from not only just having your portfolio, not just flipping, but also maybe some rental properties that may extend.
That's what I like to do. I like to flip, and every year I like to keep me 1 or 2 rentals. You know, so that way I got this set up. And you gotta think, if you're getting $1,200 a month, you know, after taxes, insurance, whatever, you get 1,000. If you got 5 rent houses that's bringing you 5,000 a month, that's a good job. At the least, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's a good job to sitting at home.
Yeah. Why you building appreciation?
Exactly, building appreciation, and you can go and get more.
Man, we never ever have enough time. I can learn so much shit. But I'm gonna come back and watch this. And,
I'm coming. We need to get about 100 acres in the country, man. We like a 4-wheel to ride horses. I know you do that, Rico.
Yes, sir. That's my goal. Give me a ranch. I want that James Prince ranch.
yes, sir.
So, what platforms can people reach you guys at? You know, they want to get at you guys.
I'm on Instagram, Troy Green, the realtor, and Rico, Boss Life Rico.
And Instagram for me is _investor. On there, you just type my name, Chris Senegal, I'll pull it up.
Yeah. Both of y'all are great marketers too, man. So I know that play a big role, man. Like I said, we ain't got enough time, so we gonna close out, man. But I really, truly appreciate y'all taking time to come over here, man, and drop these jewels on everybody, man. And hope y'all come back, and we got a couple forums and stuff like that we want to do, man. So we're gonna hope that y'all participate with us, man. Keep on sharing the love, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate y'all having us. I like what y'all doing.
Yeah, I love it. Great conversation.
Be sure tune in to Hustlerholic.com, and hey, as we always say, we out.
I'm a player, I'm a paper, man, I'm all about my dough.